Shutter speed is another way to adjust exposure, but I almost never fiddle with it. I usually keep it set at 1/50th of a second because I usually shoot 24 frames per second. Sometimes if I shoot 30 frames per second, I'll go up to 1/60th. And if I'm going to do slow motion at 60 frames per second, I would do 1/120th of a second, but these cameras typically only go to 1/125th of a second, so I leave it set there. And the reason why I don't adjust the shutter speed that much is because of how it affects the motion blur.
Right, so motion blur is the streaking or smearing of quickly moving objects in a photograph or video. It's a totally natural thing, and it smooths motion from frame to frame. And even though it may not be obvious, our vision contains some motion blur.
So shutter speed affects motion blur and exposure. For example, if I were to speed up the shutter speed, then that's going to make the action crisp because it decreases the motion blur. But it also lowers the exposure, which darkens the image a little bit. The opposite is also true. If we slow down the shutter speed, then that allows more light to hit the sensor and increases our exposure, but it also adds more motion blur, kind of makes things all creamy.
So if you are going to adjust your shutter from the standard setting and crank it up, you're going to get a really crisp image, like Chad said. And this may be appropriate for scenes that have a lot of action, or it's a highly dramatic scene, or sports. It's just going to give that edge to it and boost the intensity. Now, a way to amplify this effect is to shoot this handheld. The foreground elements, the background elements, the subject, they're all going to kind of come together with this edgy look. If you put the camera on a tripod and you boost your shutter speed, yeah, it'll still be crisp when the subject is moving, but the effect just won't quite be there. Now, if you open up your shutter and slow it down a little bit, that can also create some cool effects. It's going to be wispy and there's going to be more blur, but you can affect your footage this way and create a certain style.
Now, sometimes this really isn't that big of a deal. Recently, I went out with my family to the zoo and got some footage at the zoo. And I had my aperture exactly where I wanted it. I had my ISO exactly where I wanted it. And I was just getting animals that were very lazy that day, not moving very much. And so my shutter speed really didn't matter. I could really make dramatic changes to my shutter speed, and it really didn't make that big of a difference.
Now, it's not the best way to adjust exposure, but if you're going for a different look with your motion blur, then it might work for you.